What's the truth that you think people need to understand about the universe?
People need to understand what another person eats don't make them shit. Like, I think that's what people need to understand. And I feel like niggas just need to stop dick bopping, man.
All right, what's up? The Truth Hurts. I'm Jeff Weiss.
Rosecrans Vic.
I'm free.
This is our guest. This is ZeelooperZ. How are you doing on this fine Thursday afternoon?
It was just rainy. It was like back home, chilling.
Miserable
You
climate.
thought you were coming to some
I
California
ain't
sunshine?
miserable. This shit don't do nothing to me. Like,
Yeah.
I be cooling. Like, any weather, I'll be cooling.
So you grew up all over Detroit, yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah, basically, yeah.
Mainly the west side.
Yeah, mainly the west side, though.
What was the west side of Detroit like when you were growing up?
Growing up, like, when it's happening, you really don't notice, like, how fucked up it is, but, like, overall, I would say it was a good experience, like, just being cultured, you know? Good and bad. I don't know, it's smooth, you know? You got your ups and downs.
I always heard, like, when I've talked to people, they always say that the west side was more kind of like flashy, kind of stylish, more get money. The east side was a little grimier.
Yeah, I would say that, but you definitely get both sides of the story on east side, you know? Because you got your east siders that, you know, get money. East side niggas, they tend to be flashy and shit too. But for the most part, yeah, that's true about Detroit.
Yeah. And was like E40 your first favorite rapper?
Yeah. Yep. Because that stemmed from my stepdad, like playing them a lot in the crib.
That's it's always funny to find out how like the Bay and like Detroit are always kind of like cousins, or like in a way of like musically, where it's like people in the Bay fuck with Detroit music and vice versa, like super heavy. Are there any other like Bay Area artists that like caught your attention?
Keith the Sneak, I don't know where he from.
Oakland, I'm a king. People check up what they hollering about. No for squeezing things till it's empty. We can squab it out.
From the Bay?
Yeah.
I love his voice. Too short and shit like that.
What do you think it is about that though? Like why people from Detroit fuck with like the Bay and stuff like that?
I really didn't know that was a thing until I got older. Like, but because my stepdad, he was just really into it. Like, but for the most part, when I was growing up, I just felt like he was the only one listening to that shit, you know?
Well, now, was he from Detroit or was he from Cali?
No, he was from Detroit, but like he was a character. He like everybody called him Cali. Like,
Oh really?
Okay, so he acted like the Cali dude.
literally they called him
Yeah.
Cali. Like he was Crippin' all that shit. Like,
Oh, okay.
like,
Interesting.
motherfucking rearview mirror with the Crip rag and all that shit.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so like growing up, I felt like I grew up like a California kid.
Right.
In a sense, because my stepdad, he was like off his shit, you know?
When you went to the Bay, did you feel like it was any like kind of similar to home or anything? Or
Not
any
like
similarities?
visually,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be able to say like it's similar to home because I haven't like spent enough
too much
time
time?
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like being out there, like doing shows and whatnot. I'm there for like 2 days max, so
yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Well, what was home like? Give us a little background to like what your area was like, where you grew up.
So I grew up on the west side, like Warren. Like Warren is a street like close to Joy Road. I don't know if you heard of Joy Road before, but it's also close to Dearborn. It's like a large Arab community, you know, Islamic community.
Isn't Ford from Dearborn?
Well, it's the Ford Planners in Dearborn. I'm not sure if he's from Dearborn. I went to Rutherman and then Cody High School, and right before I went to Rutherman, it was like a Cody Ninth Grade Academy. So a lot of the schools got shut down. So a lot of the kids from different areas was going there. So it was like an influx of different gangs and whatnot, or different streets and shit. So that started a lot of confusion and like ruckus and whatnot. But for the most part, like me growing up, I was like always a hustler. I would do be doing the most to get some bread. I wasn't trying to, you know, do no street shit. I was for the most part, I was trying to do it the right way in the beginning. Like I had my, you know, ordeal with, you know, selling other shit, but for the most part, when I was younger, I would be the kid cutting your grass, like hitting up the older people, talking to them. I was like more lenient to talking to older people, like Army veterans and shit like that, or like the old lady on the corner, you know, that, you know, she ain't got nobody to help her out, talk to her. So for the most part, I try to stay out of trouble. But you know, like growing up in Detroit, like trouble finds you, you know, no matter what.
Did you find it was like harder to lead a life of crime just because you're so tall? Like it's like it was the tallest. It was like unmistakable type shit. Like,
I would get like when
really
I would do
low.
shit, I would like
That's a good point.
like my family was on that, you know, like my whole childhood growing up like so dope and whatnot, and
yeah.
you know, my uncle, he was like a big scammer and shit. He got killed for it and shit like that. So a lot of the shit was like pure signs like of me not wanting to do it. And like when I would do certain little shit, if my family wasn't involved or they didn't know about it, I would end up getting caught for the shit. So I was just like, man, this shit, I'm straight on
not
this.
for me.
I got bad luck with this shit.
Right.
So
Who was in the household?
my stepdad, my mom. And like, you know, you got the uncles and aunties that's not really your uncles and aunties moving in
Right.
every now and then.
Yeah.
And then my brothers and sisters. So for the most part, we moved around a lot. So that was like how I got a taste of different, you know, backgrounds and the way that other people lived and just being able to be a people's person. So for the most part, it was always in my face, but it's like almost like a conflict of interest in a sense when you living with like my family was street niggas, so like when you living with them all the time, like you can't sell dope out the same house, yo. People sell
Right.
dope out, like
Exactly.
you fucking with their clientele and shit. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Like most of the part I was saved by that. So
Right.
yeah. I just had to find a new drug or a new thing to sell. So
They said,
Where were
we got
you
this shit.
when it came to the kids? Were you oldest, middle?
I'm
Baby.
the oldest boy.
Okay, so how
my
was
mo-
that
and
for
my
you?
mom.
Did you have more responsibilities growing up from that?
Yeah, but it didn't never feel like responsibilities to me. Like I felt like it was
Regular.
like, regular to me.
And then obviously you're a painter as well. Like when did you kind of develop like kind of a love and appreciation for art?
Like my uncle, my stepdad's brother, he would go to jail a lot, but like when he was in there, like he was sending like pieces back that he painted and drew in jail, like, and like my grandmother, she had them on her wall. I would just look at that shit like, damn, this shit crazy, and I'm like, he just keep getting locked up for stupid shit. Well, not really stupid shit. He would just keep getting locked up, and he never really got to shine with his art. And early on, I seen that I was talented with art, like through a science class. Like my teacher asked me to draw an animal with multiple adaptations or some shit like that, and I drew some crazy shit, and I just thought it looked so cool. Like to me, it wasn't even. I feel like she complimented it, but it was more so my uncle, like him being a great artist and him not really being able to shine with it. So I kind of just like kept drawing and pursuing that at an early age.
Did you have any like premonition that you were going to be a musician at any point? When did that kind of kick in?
Like since I can remember, I was like rapping and shit. Like it's not I never thought about being a musician. Like music was like just like water type shit. It never like even now like I like sometimes it becomes like it's a job or whatever, but it never was like I thought like I'm gonna be a I'm gonna be a rapper. It was like this is what I did.
This is who I am, kind of.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name? Or was that always your name?
And how do you pronounce it?
It's ZeelooperZ, but it came from our room. Like this is like a silly ass story. I usually don't tell people, but it's like we had like this group in our class. It was called ZeeLoop, and one day they drew one of the teachers like in a bikini or some shit. But like you know how bikini got like triangular shapes.
Yeah.
And I put like pepperoni pieces like on the shit. And I had got suspended for that shit. And after that, I'm like, man, y'all niggas ain't the group. I'm the group. And, you know what I'm saying? So I just took that.
You sound like Bobby Brown.
Right.
No, that like,
And Otis.
Yeah,
and the Temptations.
I just took
David Ruffin.
took that the Z loop and I just added the ERZ at the end. I don't even know what made me even think to do that. So,
is it backwards spelled the same? Or is it
no, it's just one way.
Yeah.
I just added the ERZ at the end and just called it a day and just kept going with that. Because I had other rap names that shit early on. But,
Tell us a few of those.
Young Ross, because like early on, like a lot of people noticed, like I thought like my stepdad was my real dad till like I got 18, so I was using his last name. in school, I would write that shit at like all my papers, and like I literally thought that was it until like I seen my social security card type shit. So it was
Were they like telling you that was your dad?
It wasn't. That's not like a thing. Like
No,
they tell
yeah,
you. It was
nobody
like,
like that's
it's
It
ready.
just kind of
And
happened.
you wake up and
Okay.
that's your dad. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, like one day, him and my sister was it was a big fight in the crib, but him and my sister got into it and shit. And I like called myself trying to break it up and shit, and she got mad at me. She like, "Dang, your real daddy, nigga."
Oh,
Yeah, I was like 17, 18 years old. I was
That's
like,
the worst
what
way
the
to
fuck?
find
Like,
out.
yeah, but at the same time, all the commotion going on and shit, I'm like, I'm not really even thinking about that part.
Yeah.
And then like earlier on, my uncle told me, like before that, he had told me that, but it didn't really click in my head. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just said it once, like, that ain't your dad. I'm like, nigga, what you want me to do with this information?
Right.
I was young as fuck. Like,
He's my dad. What do
Right.
I do?
yeah.
So when you very first started deciding like, okay, I'm going to make music, tell us a little bit of the beginning of that. And did you always have like the same sound that you have now?
I don't think I like every time like when I say like with my first project, it was more so on the like because even when like you telling the truth, it's humor, and so it's more so on the comical side of things. Not to say that I wasn't serious, but it was like I was younger, so I was having a lot more fun with creating music. But each project I do, I feel like it's a totally different sound. It's like I feel like I'm evolving constantly. So yeah, it was one of those processes where like in the school that after Cody that I went there 2 years. It's called DSA. They had like studios and shit in the school. So I would like skip art class. I was an art major. I would skip that class and just like go hang out with the music tech dudes and like make music with them. So it started from like just like fucking around making music with them and then graduating and just like making music with like one of the homies and just creating a whole full project. It's because I understood like at that time like what a project was like without even like too much looking on the internet and whatnot, just albums and shit. So I just wanted to make a full body of work. So from that point, I created that piece, and like each one after that, it just kind of like snowballed effect to where I'm at now. Like, but even with the last project I put out like last week, it's just like ultimately I just try to leave a piece of what I'm trying to produce in the end, like on each body of work, like. Just like you were saying, like a side of the pyramid. I can't really put too much on it because it's only like you're only allowed to put out a certain amount of songs. So I try to give them a good refined visual of what I'm trying to portray or trying to tell them.
So when you were growing up, was like the soundtrack kind of just like Doughboys, Cash Out, like Blade Icewood? Like,
not necessarily growing up. No, that was more so after I graduated. I would like the kids and the dudes I hung around. They would listen to that shit.
Yeah.
They would like I would always be like the different dude around. Like they was super into that shit. Like when they was listening to Doughboy Cash Out, I would listen to Chief Keef and shit. Yeah. So. And they were listening to Chief Keef too, but like Chief Keef, I was listening to Frank Ocean, Chief Keef and shit. Like that was my like, oh, this is super cool. When they was listening to that shit, I would like I fuck with Doughboy Cash Out and all that shit, but I was looking at them niggas like they were stupid and shit. You know what I'm saying? not even Doughboy Cash Out, but the homies. I'm like, y'all niggas like retarded. Like in the sense like they didn't really have great music taste to me. You know what I'm saying?
it was just like what
Was that like the
pushed.
local like sound? Whatever.
Yeah. Even though Doughboy Cash Out, like, during that time they had like a big presence, and they transferred from being local to like not so much like global, but like
we heard about them.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Jeezy,
you know what I'm saying?
Jeezy signed them.
Yeah, even though that was happening and shit, it was just like I view like the homies that was listening to that shit, and like I just view them as like in a weird way, kind of like simple-minded, because I feel like they didn't
sheepish, like
they didn't think outside of where they was having going on in their city. Like they was like the young niggas I grew up with and like the homies and shit. They was into impressing the bitches and shit like that, like and money and shit. I was into like making art, like and like making like a statement and like being like somebody, like they was into the bread. Like, they was getting it. Like, I was around some real get money niggas. Like, but I just didn't give a fuck about that shit.
Well, it's like Detroit also has such a proud tradition of like kind of the outsider shit. I mean, whether it's like Detroit techno or like, you know, even ghetto tech is sort of like kind of not what people think of, maybe necessarily when they think of. Did that sound kind of like seep into, you think?
Yeah, that was later on down the line. So probably like 3 or 4 years after I graduated, where I started learning about shit like that. Like, and I would say I give credit to like dudes like Black Noise and Danny Brown, like put me on to that sound, like the other sound in Detroit that I wasn't hip to, you know. People like Shigeto, Danny Brown, Black Noise put me on to those type of sounds and music just from like wanting to work with me and like just me hearing other shit, because I didn't know none of that shit was going on when I was younger.
When did you discover Danny's music?
Like probably like a year or two after I graduated, or a year after I graduated. It was one of the I would go downtown a lot, because I would like, even though I was young, I would like still go like to local bars. I would play shows and shit, and like people would like I dropped my first project, and I had like an email list of hella blogs, like Two Dope Boys, all type of shit like that one of the homies gave me, and I just sent like an email blast, like. And I also would be on Twitter. I would just send my music to everybody that I knew of that made music. I would just, you know, send it to him. And then Danny, I sent it to him too. And he was like, oh, this shit's sweet, like commenting back. And this was like Triple X era, where he was like, you know, he was like when I feel like the second win for him, when he started cracking again, like, cause he'd been making music forever before then. But it was like his like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was like hot soup, like he was regionally famous, I think, in Detroit, and then he kind of got national.
It was like a good time for him, but also like Danny, he never strays away from showing love to anybody, you know. So he had listened to it, and then he just he complimented me on that work, that body of work, and then he was just like, yo, come to the studio one day, and after that you just like got real close and shit. So
you talked about how like the Dope Boys Cash Out and them like really focused on just getting bread and stuff like that. I know Quincy Jones has a quote that says like, the minute that you focus on, when you have music and you focus on getting money from it, like God walks out the room. Do you agree with that? Like, since you're so focused on the art and you know like things will come after if it's high art, you know?
Well, we all need money to survive, but when you chase money for the wrong reasons, I feel like that's where like the devil comes into play. But for the most part, I feel like me focusing on art treated me well, you know, and it's been like, I've been grateful for that. But a lot of the times when I didn't have shit, I was struggling, like always, probably up till I was like 26, 27, I didn't have shit, like asking my girlfriend to pay my phone bill and fucking asking her to buy me a eighth of weed, like every check that she get, like just being fucked up and like, and here and there selling my, you know, my bags and whatnot. Like I do a feature and I get a zip or a half P, I sell that, and just like rarely having money, like doing little odd jobs and shit. Like that shit wasn't fun, you know. But also I didn't have the time to fully commit to like a real job or like focusing on like hustling and shit, because like I was so invested in like my craft. So I feel like it can go either way. You can go down a dark road chasing money, you know what I'm saying? Some niggas don't come out of it. A lot of niggas I hung out with, them niggas caught cases and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like for shit they, you know what I'm saying, wasn't supposed to have, you know, or whatnot, like, and they got sent away for years and shit, you know? And I was in the same room with them niggas, like slept right next door to them niggas, like, and I seen them niggas show me $500,000, like in cash. Them niggas went away for a week, came back $500,000, showing me in my face. Niggas, there's 6 of them niggas. Them niggas gave me 100 apiece. You know what I'm saying? Like just because they knew I ain't go with them. Yeah. And like they show love, but I also seen them niggas have like a downfall, and I seen that a lot of them niggas woke up some days and they ain't have it. Like, out of all them niggas, there's only one nigga I could account for that's still, like, doing decent out here. You know what I'm saying? He's still doing his thing, and I pray for them dudes, and I love them, but it's like, I just wish, like, I wish they didn't care about to that point because a lot of it fuck
Taking
up
all
their
those
life.
risks
You know what
and
I'm
chances,
saying?
Yeah.
Like some of them niggas can't go overseas. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas can't. You know what I'm saying? I've been all the way around the world off of my music and my art, but some of them niggas can't leave home, and them was like my homies and shit. So
you basically become like, were you the first member of Bruiser Brigade? There were other people, though, like,
It
like
was
Dope Head
definitely-
Chips.
definitely- definitely,
totally, right. But so then you were the youngest member.
Yeah,
And then
youngest.
you're like 2011, 12, around that time.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Danny's obviously popping off with like Triple X, and what was it like to kind of be, well, you're like 18, 19 years old around this time?
At first, you know, it's cool at first because you like, you with a squad that, you know what I'm saying, y'all like-minded individuals, like make similar music. But it gets to a point like, and not too far after that, it gets to a point where it's like you start realizing the conflict of interest between things and like the love that your big homie might be getting or whatnot, you're not receiving, and it's not because you less than or whatever. It's just I feel like how can I explain this? Like you being overshadowed in a way, but also it's like you got to break off from the tree to do your own thing and for you to be appreciated. Like nobody like, and then it's like I know where I come from. I know I had to work for everything I got. Like I never got a handout for Brown, nobody. You know, Danny, nobody. Like I worked hard for every spot that I got, every tour. But it's like that should give a nepo baby to perception. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to do my own thing. You know. So like I wouldn't be viewed as that. Like a lot of the records, most of the records, damn near 90% of the records I did on my own. Yeah. So I wouldn't be having to have that burden, you know? And I had to realize that quick or it would have been over for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be up under nobody. And then, like, even Brown, he don't like that shit. Nobody likes that shit, you know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want to go out and eat on their own. But, like, even when you trying to, like, he tried so hard to help me. Even when you're trying so hard, it's still, like, hurting you. You know what I'm saying, in a sense. So
that's what
I had
was
to learn
say.
that.
Yeah, it can help and hurt. Like, I mean, imagine, like, Freddie Gibbs never, like, got out from under Jeezy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we forget that even
and there's a
for
lot
the
of
teens.
there's a lot of artists that don't want, like, it can be fucked up, because a lot of artists want to keep their, like, an artist is the artist, like, beneath them as like a little homie and never give them the shine.
Yeah.
It's like really weird. I mean, that seemed like the Gibbs and Jeezy thing. He never really got like the promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also hard, you know?
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in somebody's shoes and shit, because no matter how much you think you're doing, it's still going to be hard for you. You can't be them, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be the artist like that you're trying to bring up and shit. So it's hard. Like, I had a lot of talks with myself about this shit, just thinking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your mind veers off and you think somebody got negative intentions about you, but in all actuality, they've done what they could do for you.
Yeah.
And even more, you know? So it's just like, I don't know, like other people's situation, but for the most part, like Danny, he done a lot for me and shit. I'm grateful, but at the same time, I had to do it for myself because, you know.
Well, it seems like one of those things where it's like you obviously were a unique talent, I think, when you came out, but then you kind of almost had to find out who you were, what your voice. You probably knew who you were, but what was your voice as an artist, and how is that going to evolve?
Especially when you learning so much other shit. A lot of the projects I made, well, most of them are experiments. I don't fucking know what the fuck I'm doing. I just be going in there and do some shit. So you learn in your mind, as your mind grows, you have to adapt to it. So, like, especially when making the first project with him, like it was great looking back, like, but in that time it wasn't good enough, you know.
Was that Bothic?
No, it was the Help album.
Okay.
So like looking back, like it's cool, but like if I knew all the things that I know now, it would have been way better.
What do you think you learned now that you didn't know then?
I was just refinement and my vocal limitations and afflictions and cadences and just like getting the tones right, like, and just like lyrically too, it could have been better. But like I'm a savant, but I was damn near like I'm like fresh, straight idiot, young, dumb nigga from the hood when I'm making this shit. But I just know what I like to hear in the sounds, and like like just being curious that helped me along the way. But at first, I'm just experimenting. I don't know shit. Like, I'm straight up, like, I know what's good in music. I just don't know nothing else. So lyrically, I could have did way better.
Now, I think when you're young, you know exactly where you want, like, you have the idea of what you want it to look like, but how to get there is very difficult.
Yeah.
And you're kind of experimenting, exploring ways to kind of get to that, like, that vision in the back of your brain.
Especially when you're not using nobody as a crutch or using any other person's sound as a like a backdrop to your story, like especially when you're doing that, and that's all I did from the beginning. I didn't know where I was going because I didn't see a clear path. So it was like you can like tread, but you treading lightly, and then you find yourself somewhere, and it's like moving a chess piece, you know, into the next round. You feel me?
So when do you feel like you had like your breakthrough moment to where you kind of solidified yourself as the artist that you are now? Where do you feel like you were in your life then?
I feel like it's been many like small like points that have created the person I am today, but for the most part, I feel like I haven't like fully embodied like who I am to become. Like it's like I'm still learning. But one of the moments, like when I made the Dynamite album with Black Noise, we just sat in the room studio, made that shit in like 2 months, probably tops. I would say a month, but I don't want to be too geek. And it was just like me. It was all about me just creating and using like traditional sounds for me, like as to the ones I grew up with, and I was like pure hip hop, like and it's like natural sounds, and like going back and making that project and making the songs I did for that helped me realize where I wanted to go and where I wanted to reach, and it also translated to people well. And just telling like my story, like it's way easier for me to tell shit on hip hop beats, and like that's why I choose to do that on those certain type of instrumentals.
What do you feel you haven't been able to convey yet to the average listener?
This is a good question because one of the average listeners might get what I'm trying to convey, but it's about conveying it to a mass. Not even the masses, like to a good enough amount of people to where they can tell a friend. Like I could have like 5,000 people know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that ain't enough. You feel me? So like, and that's all about creating the perfect album, like to where you got, and that's why like this last album that I put out just now, it's just like me rebooting, like it's like all like school, like to me, like you got elementary, middle school, high school, and you just creating a better version of yourself each time. So I feel like I gave them a piece of what I want them to understand and the full grasp of things. And I'm like, the next project I'm gonna put out is like more so dialed in different aspects of the full being. Yeah.
I was telling you how the album with Real Bad Men, I was really impressed by it because it felt like it was it definitely was, almost like to me, and like I might be wrong, but it almost felt like your take on like kind of the post-rock Marcy sound, like the boldy kind of. He obviously did album, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's very much you, and it's obviously kind of has a psychedelic kind of bent to it. It's like dear psilocybin, right? Mm-hmm. What was the first time you ever did mushrooms? Remember?
On my 21st birthday, I was at one of my homie Tax crib. He was like, he a veteran and shit, so this was during the Zan era. We would pop hella Zans, go over his crib. Like, Zans fucked me up.
I didn't do them, but I remember that.
I forgot 2 years of that. I had my time with each a lot of drugs. I had my time periods where I would just spend a time in my life where I would just own shit. But that was our Zan era. But this was a time where they wanted to do shrooms and shit. I just remember being in the crib with them. It's me, Matrax, Tax. It was Tax's cousin. I forget his name right now, but it's on my birthday, and I popped the shrooms, and then, the stucco on the ceiling, like the little spikes and shit. I look up, that shit spinning, and Tax had a dog. That motherfucker was in the back room barking loud as fuck. I'm like, bro, it's the devil back there. I start crying like, yo, this nigga about to get me in this bitch. I'm
hallucination.
Bro, hallucinate. I'm like, this nigga loud as hell. I'm telling these niggas my life story in that bitch. Like, I'm gone. Like, this why I feel like when my friends, like, when my musical friends, like, finally got a grasp of who I was, like, because they kind of got they kind of get me like from the way I talk in daily life, but I feel like I kind of told them too much that day.
I didn't even want to open up that much.
Yeah, when I went outside, that shit was Narnia outside. I was looking at the ground like the little pebbles, like right.
I get what you mean. It like kind of transformed your mind. Like one time I thought my homie turned into a table.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Like I stared at him, he was a table.
Shit was like Beatles on the floor.
See, I never did them before.
No, I always know that I'm tripping when I'm like, ah, yes, the trees do have souls. You know what I mean? It's like they're all people. I know you up in. I see you, tree.
That shit was like, everything looked like Pokemon cards outside. Holographic as fuck. But then, like they had, like Brown had planned a surprise birthday party for me. It was at the Magic Stick, and this is like the first time I ever had a birthday party ever. So I'm just like, you know, just high as fuck going there. And this is the only shit I heard. Somebody told me he slapped the shit out of me backstage. Yeah,
like Rick James style.
No, not one of those like. Not one of those ones where you ready to fight type shit. One of them like, listen, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, get it together.
Yeah, like, get it together.
And like, cause like early on, he was like super hard on me and shit, but I ain't never, like, I don't even remember this shit. That's why but I remember performing at the my birthday party and like the ground just slanting and shit. Like, I'm just like high as fuck, but I had so much energy. I remember we was backstage and shit. And we were just talking, and I had did a couple interviews before then, and I remember him talking to me like, yeah, you gotta get better with your interviews, and it was like at that point in time, like I was young, but also I wasn't too accustomed of talking on camera and shit. I didn't like talking to people. I felt like it was only so much shit I would tell somebody, like hence, like me being off the shrooms and even kicking it with my homies, like even this conversation I would never be able to have with somebody, you know? So it was like very like all my interviews was like horrible in the sense like, but he was just on my ass about that. And then like I was talking to some female and shit. She's like, yeah, he slapped you that day. I was like, yeah. I'm like, bitch, he ain't slapped me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's some funny shit. I never even talked to him about that shit because I was like, I still don't believe that shit.
You don't want to believe it.
Yeah, because nobody ever put their hands on me in my life. Like, I didn't want
Still, yeah, you don't remember it, so technically no one has.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah,
that's some like rock star story shit.
Yeah.
You
I
think
was
about it, like
meet me at the Greek.
The night, like the night I got slapped by Danny Brown. I don't remember.
First time taking shrooms and somebody like your big brother trying to talk to you about some serious shit, and he was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I like that Danny's lecturing on your not doing interviews well enough.
Yeah.
Your 21st birthday.
Yeah,
he takes it seriously.
Yeah, but like that's another reason why like I just take shit serious. No, not even just the music, because one of my other homies, Skyler, he used to tell me, he was like, man, you can only be a new artist one time. He used to always tell me that. And like every project that I put out, I always think about what he said, because like it wasn't so much of that moment that I was having or like me being a new artist then. It was so much of like being viewed as a new artist and to everyone. And like I said, like it's not about like the 5,000 people, it's about the masses. And like a lot, even to like switch over the topic, but like people, like some people's like first time listening to Kendrick is like as of recently, and like all they know is this nigga is a monster. He's like he's amazing, you know. But they're not hip to a lot of old shit. And I seen a tweet. It was like, is somebody listening to Good Kid, Mad City right now for the first time? And I'm just jealous, you know.
Yeah.
It's like just listening to that project for the first time, and you know how you felt about it. It's just like it's not about like what one person sees, it's about what majority sees. And you know, once you get to past that point where it's like enough people for everybody to know, then that's when you have your moment.
Do you feel to get to that kind of mass level, it requires like a certain compromise that you might not be willing to do?
No, it's not, because it's like artists like E40 and Missy Elliott and people that I look up to, that I don't feel like they ever compromise to get to that point, because at the end of the day, if it's meant for you, is going to be meant for you. But for the most part, I don't feel like I wouldn't compromise. You know what I'm saying? I just, my back don't bend like that. You feel me? Like,
did you have offers like to sign to a major label at various points?
I don't. If it was, I wouldn't have did it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure my manager wouldn't have told me about no bullshit. And like, And I'm not a dummy. Like I'm not about to take a bunch of money from a motherfucker that don't got my best interests at hand. Because all you doing is giving me a fucking credit card with
it's an interest-free loan.
$500,000 on that bitch and let me spend it and then crying about the shit later. I'm straight.
Right.
Like, cause it's cool for you. Like a lot of rappers that look cool for a lot of niggas forever. Like, and like for a good amount of time, a lot of these niggas that be getting them bags, they be cracking in the day and going tomorrow. And I done seen that shit happen since I've been rapping, like since I started this shit. And I've been taking the stairs. I don't need no escalator to get to where I'm going. Right. People be shooting up too fast and they just crack their heads at the ceiling. Like, I'm straight on all that. I've been doing like, minus the years I was fucked up and broke and shit, but I needed those years, like I needed the story. But for the most part, I'm good where I'm at. Like, I'm comfortable, like, in my skin. Like, you know, I could do for my mom every now and then, and my brothers and sisters, I could do for them every now and then. But for the most part, I'm just, like, taking my time and trying to do it right versus getting a stupid amount of money that I can't, like I can't pay back or trying to be perceived as somebody that I'm not, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you make the transition from Detroit to California, and how long you been living in LA? Tell us that whole story.
So for the most part, like I say like 5 years I've been coming out here like back and forth. I would like when I first started getting some cheese, I would just spend my last just to go sit up in a hotel room for a month. But the very first time I did it, it was Earl. He said he had an Airbnb and he was just like Black Noise was already out here. Like, bro, come out here. I got the Airbnb. You come stay here if you want. Blase please. So I came out here with him and we made music, and we're not even so much making music. We just chilled and shit. Cause like he was always like a good friend of mine. Like, but from afar, like somebody that I felt like had mutual understanding and we could relate to music and shit a lot. So like I just never got to really kick it with him too much. And you know, Black Noise, that's one of my close friends. He was out here, so I would come back and forth a lot. And then like a year before last, I had moved out here for a year, but during this time, like the year before that, I really started spending out like where I feel like I was taking consumption and drug use a little bit too serious, like when it came to creating, because like a lot of this shit, like posters and shit, like I'm not glorifying none of this shit, but this shit do push you in the different directions. It could be good or bad. And I feel like I just went a little bit too hard to where I stopped caring about my principle and who I was as a person. I just cared about music. So I fucked my money up, like just getting fried every day and doing whatever. And, you know, I felt like I needed to come back home for a second. And even with that, the initial thought, I was like, I'm going to come back home, get my money together first, because I already had a place in Detroit where I was straight at, and I was out here paying rent at a whole nother place. So I'm like, okay, I could go chill, get my bread together, but also I got sober along that time. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come back and be where majority of my friends is, because back at home, like I got a couple of homies and shit, but most of my friends is out here. So I came back and everything been cool since I came back. I take care of my business and, you know, at the same time, like being diligent on my work. So I had to learn how to balance shit. It's just like, I feel like I was just getting a little too fried. Well, I know I was getting a little too fried because I was hearing shit.
Right.
So, but yeah.
How long have you been sober?
It's been like a year and almost 2 years now. Like I didn't hit the weed, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
California sober.
Right,
Yeah,
California,
but,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I hit the
but
weed
for
too.
a whole year, I didn't do nothing. So, like I feel like I'm at a place where I can like have a good time if I want to, and I'm not like it was like I was like in my head I was like obligated to get fried for the remainder of the week every time I would do shit, like, cause like starting off, that's all we did was get high. So like I just seen like where the road I was going down, and like even the homies would like hint little shit to me, but a lot of times they were scared too, cause like I'm not like a person you can just like tell anything.
Right.
So it was like I had to like kind of, you know, my body started telling me, you know, I had to chill out. So
Back when you said that you used to listen to like Chief Keef and Frank Ocean, were you listening to Earl too?
No, nope. I really started. I don't go outside. I started listening to that shit during that time because of the visuals and shit like that, and like what he was.
I don't like shit.
Grief and that song and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? I started listening during that time.
How did it feel to go from like somebody who listened to his music, liked it, to being like respected as an MC by him?
I never felt the pivot or the change between like, cause like Earl was already the homie before, like it was. I never felt like when somebody like a lot of, like when somebody like an artist like fucks with me or tell me they fuck with me, I just be happy that they got a chance to find me. You know what I'm saying? I don't never be too geeked about the shit because it's like I already know like I'm not too far off from what I like to hear from them liking my shit.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, but Earl always been a homie, like, and I would, like, always respected him, you know what I'm saying? I always knew that he, like, from his lyrics and what he was, like, what I could hear, like, musically, that what type of person he was. And, like, to meet him and shit and, like, hang out with him more, that shit was dope because I gained somebody that was, like-minded and also, like a great friend, you know?
Yeah.
So it was never, like, like, oh shit, Earl listened to me. I never been geeked up like that. I just always thought he was super cool, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think you guys bonded over musically? Because you said that like a little while back.
I remember he had a show in Detroit, and I think it was like with Vince Staples. Like, this was one of the first times that we had bonded musically. I was like, because I had kicked it with him like a time before that he came to Detroit. I remember he pulling up in it was like the tour bus outside, and we was all in the back freestyling and shit. It was like Knock was there and Kevin, like the skater homies and shit. Like Knock make music too, but we was all back there freestyling. But the time after that, I was like, man, I got new artists I want you to listen to. He like, me too. And then at the same time, we both said Kodak Black. And like Kodak, but we like you were saying
That's fire.
Yeah, we were so hooked up about Kodak Black. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But
this is like what, like 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
first
early
came out,
Kodak
yeah.
shit, that project baby shit is incredible.
We both said it like damn at the same time. It was a Vince Staple tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like a super cool moment and shit. But look, as of recently, like, cause Earl always been the type of dude like, and him and Danny got the same like trait. Like they like know how to find people, like, or they good at finding artists and music like before their time and shit. So like, also like I feel like I'm good at that too. But Earl been kicking my ass a lot. As of recently, he like he put me on a lot of different acts and a lot of different musicians. So it's like that's like a thing that we always bond over and shit. Like, and like,
does anyone stand out recently that he put you on?
I say like 2-3 years ago, he put me on Paris, Texas, and after that, I'm not sure if he put me on Quaddy. I'm not sure, but yeah, and of course like El Custo and shit. But I kind of knew like him at the same time too. But yeah. Paris, Texas is one that I feel like stood out because I'm like, these motherfuckers sound very similar to me. And then I met them dudes, and Adrian, he showed me so much love and just told me how much he listened to my music and like how like I kind of like help them like create what they already had going on, like, or help them, move forward with their shit. And I was like, man, that's super cool to hear because, like, I was, like, one of the first times I heard that from artists, like, being so genuine.
Yeah.
And, like, they're amazing. And, like, also a lot different from me, but I hear a lot of similarities and shit with our work. So it was cool to get that information from Earl. Like, he was, like, super geeked that day. Like, man, I got to put you on. You got to work with them. He was, like, he was on my ass about that.
That's cool. I saw you came out to the show with HiTech from Detroit.
Yeah.
I know Dart works with them, but is that how that came about? Did you know them from Detroit or?
They've been around in Detroit for a second, but they, like, a lot of the kids, like, from the city, like, hit me up, and I just, like, it was at one point in time where I didn't know how to use my DM. Like, like even when I first started, like, saying DM me to buy paint, I didn't even know how to use my DM. Like I would get certain amount of DMs, like, but it would be from the people I feel like that I was following or some shit.
So you didn't know about the request folder.
I didn't know shit about it. I was missing out so much bread. Like
T-Pain had the same problem where he said, the industry doesn't fuck with me. I can't believe it. And then the whole time he had like thousands of famous, rappers and singers trying to get in his DM to work with him, but he didn't check his request folder.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about that. So it's like kids like the homies like HiTech and shit. Like they told me like, and like I said, I have bad memory remembering people, but they hit me up a couple of times to work. But also my homie Matrix, he used to record one of the dudes from HiTech a lot. And like just working with them is like working with like the homies, like the bros and shit. So it was just super cool to get that out. Cause also my manager Dart, he works with them as well. So
I don't know if you guys have heard of HiTech, but they're like kind of they're hard to describe, right? It's like kind of a hybrid of like ghetto tech and like kind of like house music a little bit.
Where they
pop.
It's the new
Jungle.
wave, really.
Yeah, they're really like very futuristic and advanced. Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
So how did you get introduced to Valee? Because I know he's from Chicago. So how did that come about?
Man, I think that was the internet, man. But it took a while for me to like get introduced to him. But also Andrew Barber, that's like one of the homies and shit.
Oh, yep.
So when I knew that he was managing him, that was like easy. But I don't remember the exact first time that I met Valee, but he had a show, Brown, he had booked him to do Bruiser Thanksgiving, so I met him then. But Valee, he like street nigga, so he like quiet and shit. He ain't talk much, but the Shell, that Shell song, when that shit, bro, that shit was so crazy.
Walked in Shell, flamed up a L.
Yeah.
And then I heard the shit with Z Money.
He Saint Laurent book bag on my back, don't look back, cracks up real fast, shot that Fogo, they chow, bitch, not a Versace, first class, matte black.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that shit hard too.
Always fuck with
That's
Z
my
Money.
shit.
I was like, ain't no nigga rapping like this, man. That shit is crazy.
Because I actually heard you guys make Pistachio
Now my Range Rover seats pistachio.
in the studio that night, and that shit was amazing. You didn't write nothing down. He didn't write nothing down. Do you usually make music like that where you just hear the beat? Because I know he does, but do you usually do that?
When I first started making music, I used to write a lot. Like I would attend these things called like ciphers and shit. Like downtown, I would leave the crib and shit, go down and do a cipher like every weekend. So I would write shit for that. And then like my first couple of projects, I wrote shit for. Like I say the first two, but after that, I just started experimenting. I just started freestyling because I was so infatuated with like how Jay-Z created and shit. So I wanted to try it for myself, and like, cause I would do that at home when I was younger. We just freestyle all day. I wouldn't write. I started writing because when I first met Brown, he was like really big on writing, and he would just always be on my head about writing and shit. But I always knew that I wanted to like create more freely. So like ever since like I say my third, fourth project, I just started freestyling, and like Black Noise helped me with that too. He would just let me freestyle, and I just like would punch. Like I freestyle at 8 bars, 16 bars, and just punch the hook or come up with the hook first. And I just like when I hear shit, I feel like I know what the song sounds like, and I just put the words to it. Like it's like a feeling, like the purest feeling, like just know what I want to hear.
I had went to your show that weekend too with Valee, and I remember we were upstage watching you, and I remember you coming out, and it was literally like some rock star shit. Like your fans are crazy diehard. When did that kind of like hit you? Like, okay, I really got a cult following, and was it like always like that?
Yeah, earlier on, I say bands like Trash Talk. I don't know if y'all familiar with them, but those are like real, like Garrett and Lee. They're like real close homies of mine. And early on, when I was in Detroit, I would like my first couple of shows. They pulled up and they had shows out there, and they asked me to open up, and I'm like, open up for a fucking punk band? What the fuck? So they kind of already knew who I was and shit, but it took them to like have me opening up for them and show me like the true like power behind like my performance, and like just certain things I would do performing and ways I would go about shit just like led me into that path of like the energy that I would exert.
Do you still perform like that?
Yeah.
Because that was a while ago. That was maybe like 2 years ago.
It depends on like the song and the show. Like, but like the older I get, I try not to go into the crowd too much, and like I learned a lot. Like,
The Trash Talk guys are they go into they're like
was
one of the
wild.
greatest shows
The
like
show
you'll
was
ever see.
wild.
Yeah.
I know when and when not to do some shit.
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like this is like some rock star shit. I think you had some like jacket on top, like a cape. Yeah, you was clowning that night.
You gotta go to one.
It was pretty dope. Entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed myself.
Do you go to other shows and be like, this shit weak?
Right.
Nobody doing this, nobody doing that. Like,
What's
based
the
on
worst
your-
show you saw? Don't name their name. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
If it ain't the homies,
just kidding.
if it
Yeah.
ain't the homies,
why
I
would
ain't
you
going.
bother?
Like,
I get you.
I
Well,
go
maybe at a
to-
festival you might occasionally catch something where you're just like,
But I ain't about to go sit and watch a nigga. Like, if I don't, because I got enough homies that I dedicate my time to, then go support another nigga shit. That's like a nigga asking me, bro, rap on my beats. Nigga, I got 15 homies that make beats.
Yeah.
I'm not opening this shit up. Even though I don't care how good you think it is, I'm straight. Like,
Yeah.
and God bless you if you make it. I'm not about to be dick riding afterwards. I gotta get my homies to do
Right.
this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
How many of your friends make music? And tell us like some of their names that we may not know.
Shit. I mean, I may not know. I don't know. You probably know everybody. You heard Zach Fox music before?
I mean, Alchemist is on his new album.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Zach
Zach
Fox.
Fox.
I mean, Zach Fox.
He makes amazing music. A lot of people don't know he makes music, but he's an amazing DJ. He makes music. Like Black Noise, like I said, amazing producer.
Have you made anything with Mavi yet?
Yeah, he's on the last project I did, but Mavi, every time I make some shit with him, he just like go for blood. I'm like, bro.
He be trying to hang you out to dry?
Yeah, like,
That lyrical
he
nigga.
goes so crazy.
He's
like,
young. He's young. Yeah. He's
It
just like,
ain't even that. He just good.
He good.
He's very good.
He real good.
Do you guys ever get into arguments like, for example, like we all know that like Earl left Earth on El Custo's, song. It's like, why'd you do that on my shit, dog? Like, like he, not that he didn't snap, but it's like, bro, that verse like broke ground, broke the earth for a little bit.
Fine chocolate shit like a diver. Cut on my dog, he step out of line.
It's still breaking the earth, but
Yeah.
it's just so much. It's oversaturated with bullshit that people don't get the gist of,
Yeah.
And like Earl, he ain't the type of nigga that's gonna milk anything, so it's like it still go crazy. But
Yeah. Do you like? Is it the big?
every time Mavi do some shit,
bro, where's my shit?
every time Mavi, I tell that nigga chill out. But
He don't know he that good either.
yes, he do.
He don't act like it
No,
though.
yes, he do. Yes, he do. Yes, he do. He not cocky around the people, but he gonna be in the.
He go clown when y'all get in there. How did you and him meet?
Damn.
Because I interviewed him too, so he told me he knew you when he was out here.
Oh man, how did me and Mavi meet? Probably through Tebe, but probably through Earl. But another time where I felt like that is on Alchemist, his verse on my shit, like even though Alchemist been
Nah,
around
he snapped on
he
it. There you go.
snapped.
Yeah.
See, look,
Going up off the grid below the radar detectors. Splash the canvas, let the paint display the textures.
Snapped on
to
that
my
shit.
defense, this motherfucker been rapping.
Man,
He been around the greatest rappers
Yeah,
his whole fucking
30
life, and he
yeah,
started
40
off
years.
rapping. Yeah, nigga, you
Hey,
been-
shout out the Hooligans, man. Underrated.
Shout out
This
Alchemist.
motherfucker
Yeah.
been crazy as hell. I remember playing this shit for Earl, like, man, listen to this shit, man. This nigga like, man, you gonna have to take him off, bro. I'm like, yeah, I know this nigga went crazy. Black Noise was like, he got you, man.
Yeah. Does it feel targeted at this point? You're like, why me?
No, because like with this album, what I realized is not to say I didn't do my best work, but I realized what like place I hold in music and like what kind of artist I am. Like I might not be not when I do features, I'm going for blood too, but it's not even like that type of like I'm not creating that kind of composition when I create music. I'm just trying to fill the void of the vibe and like the real and the soul. Like a nigga might wax me, you know what I'm saying? Like flow wise or whatever, but when it comes to soul, I can't be beat. But I'm still a huge fan of flow, you know what I'm saying? So regardless of, you know what I'm saying, how much output of my heart output, motherfuckers still be getting off, you know? So, and like I done got off on Mavi a couple times too, but
It's Mavi. Mavi, you the problem.
Yeah, he the problem.
Yeah, you the problem, Mavi. We'll talk about it when he come on here for sure.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite artists too. And even going back to that Earl and Cousteau track, Cousteau waxed that bitch.
He did.
Driving the Benz, I be smoking the smoking on Robinson, nigga. He ain't did that before.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He spanked that shit. That's what he would say. He spanked that shit, but it's like,
what are you gonna do when someone's like,
I'm not okay, but I'm gonna be all right.
that's what I'm saying.
That's like a Zen like parable. Yeah.
But that was like a lot of that was like that's that soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my Cousteau is a little bit younger. You know what I'm saying than us. So it was great to hear that like Tebe exert that energy and also like come from a different angle on the track. So that's why I feel like a lot of people gravitated to it, but also he shed a light on a lot of situations going on with the world too. So I feel like that's why that hence the Gaza line.
Yeah. Free Gaza, we on the corner like Israelites.
That's why that verse is so powerful. And even like the name of the track, and like El Cousteau's verse is amazing. Like it takes those type of artists like Cousteau to bring out that shit, and and us and the homies like Mavi, like it takes those type of young niggas to do that shit, cause like without them, like we not too far off of where we at. You know what I'm saying? From where we started, they are our inspiration as well as we are theirs.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where that happened and you went back and changed your verse?
I don't never do that shit. That's cheating.
Okay, all right.
You can't do that shit.
Fair fight.
That shit fake.
Fair fight.
I don't like when niggas do that shit. I think that shit fake. I thought about it doing that shit to Al, but I'm like, that shit bold. Cause like, at the end of the day, you could do all that, but that's not what God meant for that shit to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so how do you feel like you stay sane in like the chaos of like modern life? Is it difficult?
I just stay in the house.
Yeah.
Or I go to the homie's house. Like, I worry about me and mine, so I don't worry about everybody else shit. I might laugh at it every now and then, but I don't worry. I don't got time for that shit.
Are you like certain corners of the internet you tend to go to, or no? Are you?
Bro, I watch dumbass shit on TikTok. I don't be looking at all that bullshit. I watch how it's made type shit. Niggas making fucking bagels and shit like that. I don't fucking look at all
How
that
does
bullshit.
one make a bagel?
The machine squeezes the dough through small openings to create 105-gram balls.
Man, stupid shit.
I should know, you would think. If anyone would know.
I was a How It's Made kid. Like when How It's Made, the two scientists nigga, what's some niggas' names? You ever watch
Bill
How
Nye?
Oh, no.
How It's Made.
How It's Made, it'll be like two dudes that were just like...
With them niggas.
I'm bad at that stuff. I would not. I can't do anything.
Today we're gonna show you how. It was you didn't even see them niggas' faces actually, and then it was another show of two niggas. They would do like a little shit that, basically like the shit that happened in movies. They would experiment this shit in real life. Like can you survive with a bullet being shot at point blank? And then they would.
Oh, I
shit.
seen that show.
Yeah, stupid shit like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I just watch shit like that on Instagram or TikTok or Reels, and for the most part, like if it's some like fashion shit, like if it's some new innovative shit, I might tap into that. But for the most part, all this shit is fabricated drama that motherfuckers put on the internet to distract you from what you could be doing, and that's fucking creating your own art and getting some money. So I don't really care about that shit too much.
What's the most that you've ever sold a painting for?
I would say like 10.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's decent. But also, like, I think about, like, my clientele or, like, my fan base. Like, people can't afford that shit that, like, a regular listener and shit really can't afford that. So I'm not really trying to sell it to make a substantial amount of money every time. I'm trying to give these kids something that they say, oh, I got this from Z.
Right.
Like, and it's in their house that's more than enough promotion for me, like, for the next person. So, like,
I think that's dope too. Like it's a form of your merch instead of like T-shirts.
I like that you were inspired by Francis Bacon.
Yeah, it was because the way his paintings look, well, how he creates them. Like he starts off with a ungesso painting, like ungesso canvas. It's basically like just the raw material of the canvas before the base coat is laid on, and that's how it gets the grain and I guess like this smoky feel and texture and shit like that. So.
Are you familiar with Serge? Did you ever listen to Serge Gainsbourg? He's like an amazing, he's one of those famous French artists, and actually he was a painter first, and Francis Bacon was like his first big influence.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's like, I think, a musician kind of.
I used to dabble with art back in my day, but I built sculptures. I have my degree in studio art.
Yeah, I made sculptures.
Yeah.
It was like
here.
this.
It's a little art easel on there. Cal State Bakersfield. Y'all know me in the art department.
That's fire.
Yeah, like I can build things. I can manipulate materials from other things. Whoa. I never was good at painting, but if I sketch it, I can make it look like the sketch.
Wow. That's dope.
Yeah, I have a lot of things.
So like that's like architect shit.
Yeah, architect. We had to take all that shit. Ceramics, 2D, 3D design, sculpture, the whole shit. One of my really good friends, Brandon Lander, shout out to him. He's a very famous painter now. He's been selling shit, doing his thing, but he used to help me a lot.
There's a really, storied tradition, obviously, of like painters becoming. Like David Bowie was like painting before. Like there's a ton of them. Do you feel like there's a correlation between the two?
Wanting to create, yeah, but for the most part, I don't want to ever like separate the two. Like that's not my whole thing. My whole thing,
artist. It's kind of
like,
just one.
I don't ever want to. That's I feel like that's what's gonna differentiate me from a lot of musicians or like people that think they good at making music and shit. Like, cause it's like it's about who you are. Like a lot of these niggas is just like, oh, I killed this nigga, or like, oh, I sold a bunch of dope. Like nigga, like we got a lot of those niggas. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
That's enough, and we know what that story could be or where it ends. You know, and I just feel like that's like the basic, like the story that I'm trying to tell. Like, cause also like I come from that way, but I don't really glorify this shit. You know?
Yeah.
It's not really that cool.
What do you think is we've been doing this as like a segment for every episode. Like, what's an unpopular truth to you that's like something that you think is true that other people might not?
I don't know. I'm very transparent with myself and like people. I don't like that's like a little bit of my problem. I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's the truth that you think people need to understand about the universe that like they might not like? It might not be conventionally accepted.
People need to understand what another person eats don't make them shit. Like, I think that's what people need to understand. And I feel like another thing is like, I feel like niggas just need to stop dick bopping, man. I feel like that's the problem. I feel like they're so invested in what one man thinks they don't find out for themselves or what they really like. I've seen that a lot throughout my life where people it's just too much clicking up on one idea, and that's why like the ship never sells. You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like that's like it's related in any way to like stan culture, which I feel is kind of like one of those things that it's like it's a symptom kind of a deeper thing of like why people, because obviously there's been the name stan culture comes from like an Eminem song from 2000, but it definitely is very different now.
Back to like John Lennon, you know what I'm saying? Like
totally.
where it goes too far.
But now it's extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, like you get that with artists like Cardi and shit. You get a lot of these niggas like trying to sound like him and shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you hear their music, it's like they can rap, but they don't never try to. And it's like I don't know if it stems from fear of the unknown or like me. I never really got that shit. I don't know if they scared to like be themselves or they don't have nobody to be.
Well, there's a lot of really talented fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the difference between a fan and an artist, and I think like we've become we just accept really talented fans, whereas like we don't want the actual artist because it's like, and part of it is just like a streaming culture where it's like recommended if you like this.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's easy to duplicate when you have the whole blueprint put right in front of you.
That is true because if you think about it, when we used to go to CD stores back in the day, it was just alphabetical order. It wasn't based on you might like this because it's similar to this. You know what I'm saying?
And you had to really want to like something versus like, I'll passively listen to this.
Mos Def is next to Nelly because M.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just proximity was just like how we kind of consume music. And now it's like another song of another artist will play immediately after to keep you on the app.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the vending machine is broke. That's why I think
the
about
algorithm?
it.
Right.
Yeah, the whole shit, bro, because nowadays, like even down to when you watching movies and shit, they be like, you like this movie, so you gonna like this shit. And then you go down the line of what the movies is, and eventually you get bored of that shit. You know what I'm saying? You want something new. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching some this shit. Like a lot of people watching this shit right now, but Severance and shit. But it's cool because it's not nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And you can call it suspense or whatnot, but it's just like nothing like that. So, like, but you wouldn't be able to necessarily put Severance next to some other shit because it's not nothing like that.
Did you ever watch Twin Peaks?
No, but my brother Devin, he really big on that shit.
Yeah, if you like Severance, I would. That would be the closest thing.
Recommend it for you.
Twin Peaks in general. No, Twin Peaks is like honestly just like just lock in for a winter.
See, this is the type of dude I am. When niggas is screaming about some shit so loud,
I don't want to hear it. Me neither.
No, that's how I was. I didn't get into Twin Peaks until like 3 years ago.
Until they like 2 weeks late.
Brother, and I know it's like that.
When it's your time, I would say when it's your time.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that you got to just let it.
Yeah, but he's my like little brother, so I know it's like that, but I'm gonna let you have that. You know what I'm saying?
I was like that with The Wire because I didn't want to be another white guy that's like, have you seen The Wire?
I'm like that with
like, oh, you like hip hop?
I haven't seen none of those. What is it? The one with Ghost, the 50 Cent one?
Oh, Power?
Yeah, I've never seen none of those, y'all.
Niggas,
and I don't want to.
Niggas ruin shit.
No, I know the creator of the Book of Cain, and he's great, and you should watch that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Joey
Very
Badass
talented.
did look good.
And a
in
big
the
Draco
show.
fan.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to tap in.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
That's just gonna be time for me to be wasted. Like, when I watch some shit like that. That's how I feel like about shit. I feel like, but I learned that earlier on. Like when everybody was raving about some shit, I listened to it. I was like, all right, I fuck with it. But
that's
like,
how I feel about Game of Thrones. People just talk about it too much, and I'm like, I don't.
First
know.
couple seasons
That's how I feel
were
about
pretty good.
Squid Games.
Yeah.
No, I started. Well, it was like Ted Lasso. I had this epiphany where I was like, "You must see." I was like, I started watching it, and I was like, honestly, I will never get back these 3 hours. And I was like, because normally I try to finish it, and I was like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah, I fucked with Squid Games, but I waited a while to
See, I
watch
haven't
it.
seen none of them yet, and I think I'm gonna stand on that.
I like Squid Games, but I watched it and I didn't know that
It was real?
No, I didn't know that you couldn't watch it.
I don't think it's
I watched it in Korean.
It is. It's based off of
I watched
something
it in
you
Korean.
didn't see.
I
Like,
didn't know you could watch it in English.
so you had subtitles?
Yeah.
Wait, so they have a dub versus subtitles?
No, Jeff, it's real.
I watched the original
You
version.
didn't see like the photos that went viral
Isn't
of the
Squid Game
place?
just
You
like
ain't
about
gonna
like
watch
murder?
Squid Games. You watched Badlands yet?
No.
It's like a Korean show. It's like kind of like a game show, and it's also another one called The 8 Show. I watched both of those, and those like Badlands. That shit crazy as fuck.
I might have to check that one out.
Is it available in English too?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
for sure.
They they got the fake voiceover.
Yeah,
shit.
the voiceover.
That shit be pissing me off
Because they don't
I know it's the same nigga. It's the same 5
It's all
niggas.
the same voice.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I be so anal about little sounds and shit. Like a bitch will move her purse, and then I be like, that shit ain't make that sound like that. You swung that shit, you slid that shit across the table. I ain't hear the slide, but I hear it in. Like, where the rest of the sounds? Like, the niggas in that bitch, I watch videos, like, I be watching that type of shit on TikTok. Niggas be tap dancing on the motherfucking ground, making the sounds for the voiceover niggas.
I was gonna ask you if there was another career that you would do if you weren't doing what you're doing, but maybe that could be Foley.
I don't got
Sound
nothing.
designer.
See, that's the whole thing about me. I'm doing everything I can do in this lifetime. Anything that I know I'm good at, I'm doing it. Ain't nothing else that my career spread is more vast than music. Music is a commercial for my artwork. They buy the paintings because my music is good.
Yeah.
And then I styled the homies because they told me I was good at the shit.
I was about to ask
That's
you
what I was
that.
gonna say that too.
So
Are you a
stylist,
stylist?
like that's like kind of people don't know. It's not as glamorous as it seems, right?
Yeah, it's
You know,
not fruitful.
It's also like a service job essentially, right?
Yeah,
'Cause you
that
have to
shit
run
ain't no
here,
cheese
run there.
in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm
Yeah.
not doing it for niggas that ain't the homie. Cause like I do some shit. You be big magazines, they don't be having no cheese for you. But the homies, they'll pay me. I know my bro. And then but the way I do this shit, I know how to get shit and let my homies keep it. So I'm not about to like the homies that I do this shit for is the homies that don't really care too much about like keeping a closet full of clothes. So I'm getting all this shit. Oh, I know bro gonna love this shit. I do that shit in 2 days, give him the shit. Or like, well, we about to do Jimmy Fallon, bro. Can you get us together? I do that shit, call up a couple people, get them right. Like, oh, what you want to wear? I can get this shit. Like, cause I just know how to talk to people, you know?
Yeah.
But
How long you been doing that?
the first time I did it was for Jimmy Fallon. It's been like 3-4 years since I did the first time. And my homie Black Noise, it was Bodie in that brand. He really wanted to wear that shit. And I had knew somebody that knew somebody over at the store, so I end up contacting. You know what I'm saying? Contacting them, got them some crazy ass outfits for that shit. Went to go, you know, and then like that time I spent my own money. You know what I'm saying? Then he had a New York Times shit the next day, so I got a lot of shit from the same brand and like different up and coming brands and you know different stores. You know, hit up, you know, went on Essence, bought a couple shoes for him and shit. And I didn't care about the money because it was like, I love doing that shit. That's my thing, you know? It was almost like, because like, these people, they didn't did shit for me that nobody else could, so it's not like shit for me to go cop shit for the homies and shit. But also it's like, that adds to your resume, but at the same time, that just like adds to the perception of who you are. For me, I don't really need nobody else to hit me up for this shit. I just let niggas know I really do this shit. Like, I don't need the cheese from it. I just want niggas to know, like, when you think about me in a vast way. Don't think about me
and get
one
fly
dimensional.
and
Yeah, you feel me? Because a lot of niggas say they get fly, but they be having styles and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But who really getting fly? I'm getting fly for real because I can get somebody else fly.
Who do you think are the best dressers? Like, who are your kind of like style icons?
Thundercat, Steve Lacy, Zach Fox, Earl Sweatshirt. As of late, Earl didn't used to give a fuck, but he been putting that shit
when
on.
I heard him rapping about Burberry, I was like, oh, okay, he's in that mode.
He be getting off.
Yeah.
Garrett from Trash Talk, he go crazy. And Danny, of course, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it. Like, I feel like.
What'd you think of the boot cuff? What do you think of that, the boot cut jeans?
I don't give a fuck what your jeans look like. As long as it look good. I don't give a fuck. Like, trendy.
Not talking about Kendrick. I'm just talking in general.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if boot cut, cuffed up. I don't give a fuck if you got skinny jeans on. Make that shit look good. I'm straight with it.
What's your preference?
I wear any. I just don't want to wear no skinny jeans no more because it's hard to get about them bitches. I just don't want to wear the skinny jeans no more. It's just too hard. I used to wear them a lot, like in 2015 and shit. I was heavy on Rick Owens and all that way. Before all these niggas, now these niggas been doing this shit the last 3 years. I was on that shit in 2016. Niggas was looking at me crazy and shit.
Right.
But like it was cool then, but I'm just like over that shit now.
So with you living in Cali and stuff now, is there like any LA rappers or are you into the West Coast music scene out here in LA? Like tell us a little bit about that.
I fuck with Paris, Texas, man. Like, and I fuck with Greedo. And
Shout out to Greedo.
RP Draco. Of course, Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? Always love Kendrick, but for the most part, like Tebe would have to put me on and show me some young cats out here that, you know, that he think I would like.
Who's Tebe, your manager?
No, that's Earl. I just keep switching from Earl to Tebe because I call it nigga Tebe.
Is that his government?
Yeah,
okay.
I call it nigga Tebe in real life, but just for reference for people.
Yeah,
you know
I know Draco and Earl fucked with each other.
Yeah, that nigga, Draco was one of a kind. But yeah, as far as new, young, up and coming artists, I'm not really too tapped in, you know what I'm saying? Like, Schoolboy, you know what I'm saying? He put me on the AZ track and shit like that, but not too much of the younger people. And Tebe, we had this conversation not too long ago. He was like, I gotta put you on, but he just never got a chance to play me the shit yet.
I think you and Greedo will make something crazy.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to set that up.
He followed me and shit. I talked to him and shit. I texted him, sent him some shit, but he just ain't hit me back yet. So I ain't want to press it. I don't really, care about pressing shit.
Right.
So what do you feel is still left to achieve for you as an artist? Not like in one specific thing.
Just relaying the message, like, and getting it to more people. Because if I'm like, first I didn't have shit. Then I was making a little show. Now I'm where I can support myself and I'm stable. I need to double what I'm doing right now. And then when I get there, then we could talk then. But for right now, I'm cooling right now, but I need to double what I'm doing right now and keep increasing the people that, are in tuned in and that know about me, because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I don't need to do too much or do nothing much more. You know what I'm saying? I done did every level up to this point of artistry and, the creation of music. I just need to double what I'm doing now, whether it's more gallery shows and the way I implement that into my music and therefore,
I was about to ask that. What's more satisfying an event for you? A sold out like a successful gallery show or a sold out,
I feel like
live event?
I feel like the gallery show is like what would be my next goal to like, you know, because not to say that it's not like my art is doing good, but on the like say like a gallery show being sold out, I haven't really done that yet. So like that'll be the next step with that. But like on the other side of things, like internet and like cheese wise, that's cool. But like I wanted to make it more like in person type thing. Like, but music is like a full balance all the way around.
Yeah.
So.
What's like the main message that you want your supporters to take from your music? Because I feel like you have like a very versatile style. So what do you feel like is the main thing when you set out to make music that you want the people that fuck with you the most to really get out of it? I know you said you want to keep the message alive. What's the message?
Life is hard, but don't spend all that time thinking about how hard it is. Like, try to enjoy yourself. And don't let the past be who you are today. I feel like that's the message.
That's great.
That's
all right,
so
good place to
dope.
end.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, thank you for coming through. Truth hurts.
Truth hurts.
Truth hurts. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
Pro
Pro
Club.
Club. Thank you so much for coming through.